Hey everybody, welcome to the OSG Garage. Today we're going to talk about trailers, or at least why I think I should be making my own folding dirt bike trailer. So pretty much for my whole adult life I've been riding dirt bikes. Now when my daughter was born I kind of backed off for a little while, and when I took the position to come out here to California to work, one of the first things I wanted to make sure I was doing was getting back on dirt bikes. So I bought a little KDX 200, and I had a trailer that I put on the back, or not a trailer, but I had one of those single bike rail haulers that would go on the hitch. And I had that and used that for a long time, and it worked pretty good. Now a few years ago, we bought a house out here, and at the time we didn't have an SUV or a pickup truck, so I decided that and we wanted to do a lot of house projects. So I decided that one of the best things to do would be to buy a little Harbor Freight folding trailer. So I bought that, and I was able to still tow around lots of sheets of plywood and lumber and stuff. We built a little studio out in the backyard, and you know when you have a house you're always going to be towing something, or have to tow something around, or move furniture, or whatever it is. And the thing worked great for that. And what was really nice about the trailer is the way it folded up, and we could just pretty much move it to the storage place that we had set aside for it. When we built a studio, we built a shed off the side of it with a little big extended overhang, and the thing fit just perfectly right on side of it. It worked out really, really great. So living in California, one motorcycle probably isn't enough. You need two or more. So we started getting into scootering. So Linda got herself a scooter, I got myself an old Vespa as well, and we started kind of hauling them around up to like the wine country and down to Paso Robles, driving around on some of those back roads. And we used the Harbor Freight trailer along with some Pingle wheel chocks that were removable to haul the bikes around. And the scooters turned into a dirt bike for Linda too. So now we were hauling two dirt bikes around, going up to Metcalf and Carnegie, even down to Hollister, and we started going up to Forest Hill, which is a little further. It's almost 2.5, 3 hours. And the first time we went up there, I was a little nervous with the trailer. The bearings on the wheels were giving me a little bit of a ginchy feeling, being a really cheap and expensive trailer. And the trailer is just getting flimsier and flimsier. So I decided to look at maybe upgrading the trailer a little bit. So I still knew I needed a folding trailer. So I started looking online. And one of the trailers I found on there was called a Kendon. And Kendon looked like a pretty quality piece of equipment. And it so happened that one of my buddies who lives down a little bit south from me had one. And I was able to kind of borrow it to kind of try it out. And it's a really great trailer. It's got a torsion axle suspension. It rides really quiet. It'll tow about 2,000 pounds. The bearings and the wheels and tires are really great shape. And the folding part works pretty good too. The tail kind of folds up. It has a little latch to hold everything down. And you tip it up on the end of these casters here, and you can kind of roll it wherever you want. Except for one problem. It's a little bit too tall. That front trailer right there, the front tongue, basically won't get through the gate, and it won't fit in the height of the space that I have designed for it. So, what do? Well, you basically kind of take the best of the Harbor Freight, and you take the best of the Kendon, and make your own. So I did a bit of digging online, and I found some trailer plans for some pretty sturdy trailers that could haul maybe 2,500 to 3,000 pounds. And I kind of used the dimensions for the frames and then just adapted the folding part of it. So I went into Fusion 360 and kind of drew everything up a little bit. So another nice thing about the Kendon is it has a pretty low deck height. That torsion suspension allows the axle to be up a little higher. So I looked into that on eTrailer about the kind of types of axles I wanted to use, and I found something that's called axle-less. Now Timbren is a company that makes it, and basically it's a unit that mounts onto the side of the rails, and you can get like a 4-inch drop axle to get a pretty low deck height to help load and unload the bike so it's easier to load and unload. Now with that I can also use a 13-inch tire with like maybe a C load range, which gives you 1,300 or 1,400 pounds per tire, so it gives the trailer an excess of 2,000 pounds. So I'm a little more confident when I want to tow this thing for 500 or 1,000 miles. Now, once I had the trailer drawn up in Fusion 360, I put a stock list together, and I called Borrmann Steel up in Palo Alto, and they were able to get me everything I needed cut within about 4 hours of placing my call for about 450 bucks. So I took the Harbor Freight trailer, loaded it up, and picked everything up. Now, some of the stuff, they had a minimum order quantity of 20-foot sizes, but they cut it down to pretty much whatever you want. So they cut it into 10-foot sizes so I could easily load it up onto the trailer. Now, for the decking material, I'm going to use some diamond plate, and I'm going to get that from a guy down in Gilroy. And I'm going to use the same Pingle loops for the front tires that I can take on and off the trailer as I had on the Harbor Freight. That way I can still use the thing as a utility trailer. So I'm using about a 5-foot width, which is going to give me a little more functionality than I had with the 4-foot width. And I hope to do the whole thing for under $2,000. Now, originally I hoped to be about half of what I was for if I would have gone out and bought a Kendon, but the cost of the diamond plate is going to drive that up a little bit. Alright, so let's talk specs. First off, the trailer is going to be about 5 feet wide by about 7.5 feet long. We're going to make all of the main frame out of 2" by 3" by 1/8 wall steel tubing. We're going to use Timbren 2,000-pound axle-less suspension, and we're going to use 175/80 R13 radial tires, and those will have a load rating of C. Deck's going to be diamond plate, and the total weight of the unloaded trailer is going to be about 500 pounds. So in this first episode, I wanted to give you a rough idea of what we're going to be building here in the next few weeks. In the next episodes, we're going to talk about slicing up all the raw material, laying everything out and welding it up, and then putting the axles on and putting the decking and the wiring and getting all that done. So, if you haven't already, please hit subscribe. Look us up on Instagram at OSG_garage. That's going to do it for this week. We'll see you on the next episode.